So far, we've explored the physical coin, its value, its condition, its history, and even its potential future if the US retires the penny altogether. But there's another piece of the puzzle that's just as important today as mint marks or luster: influence. And we're not talking about political or historical influence, we're talking about online influence. Because in today's world, coin collecting doesn't live in the shadows of dusty libraries or hidden dealers behind glass counters. It lives online, on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Reddit, Discord, and collector forums. It lives in places where someone with a camera, a flashlight, and a little excitement can flip a single 2017 D penny into a viral video with hundreds of thousands, sometimes millions, of views, and that changes everything, because while traditional numismatics relied on books, monthly newsletters, and in-person club meetings, the new generation of collectors is growing up in a digital age. One where a 60-second short about a $1 million penny can trigger tens of thousands of people to start checking their change jars, searching rolls, and flooding eBay looking for the exact same coin. This sudden visibility creates demand. Demand creates urgency. And urgency creates pressure on supply, even for a modern coin like the 2017 D Lincoln Cent. Videos claiming outrageous values like $87 million might not be accurate, but they do have an effect. They introduce people to coins who might never have considered collecting before. They make people curious. And while most viewers eventually realize the truth, that no 2017 D penny has ever sold for anywhere near that amount, the seed has been planted. They've looked at a coin closely. Maybe for the first time in their lives. And that's something numismatics has always needed: attention. Because without attention, coins fade into obscurity. But with attention, even a 1-cent piece becomes a subject of fascination, and that's where the real opportunity lies, because social media isn't just about hype. It's also about education, community, and connection. There are creators, true educators, who break down grading standards, compare examples side by side, walk viewers through the difference between a common coin and a rare one. They show error varieties. They explain strike doubling versus true double dies. They highlight coins like the 2017 D and say, hey, this coin isn't going to make you a millionaire, but here's why it's still worth looking at. And that kind of content builds a more informed collector base. One that understands that not every red cent is gold, but some are still worth real money, and all are worth examining with care. Collectors today use tools that simply didn't exist a decade or two ago. Apps like PCGS CoinFacts, NGC's Registry, CoinSnap, and USA Coin Book allow you to search values, compare photos, track auctions, and build digital coin collections. Online auctions on platforms like eBay, Great Collections, and Heritage Auctions let you watch real-time pricing shifts. You can search for 2017 D penny MS67RD and instantly see what the last 10 sold for. You can set alerts. You can track registry pop reports. You can study real-time market behavior from your phone. That changes the game entirely, because now the collector isn't limited by geography or access. You don't need to live near a coin dealer. You don't need to know someone in a coin club. You can learn everything online, watching coin roll hunts, unboxing graded returns, studying minting errors through 4K close-ups. And the more people get involved, the more demand rises, not just for rare vintage coins, but for perfect modern examples, including coins like the 2017 D Lincoln Cent. YouTube especially has become a kind of modern numismatic classroom. There are creators who specialize entirely in Lincoln Cents. Some do hour-long streams just sorting rolls live, and when they find a brilliant red 2017 D, you can feel the excitement through the screen. That moment, when an ordinary coin becomes extraordinary, is shared instantly with thousands. And those thousands go check their coins. That's the ripple effect. One discovery can create a wave of curiosity, and then there's the resale market, because once you've found a 2017 D penny in exceptional condition, or even an interesting error, the next step is to figure out where to sell it, and how to sell it. Online marketplaces are full of listings, some smart, some silly, some outright deceptive. You'll find people posting rare 2017 D Lincoln penny, asking $2,000, with nothing to back it up. And you'll also find honest sellers offering PCGS-graded MS67RD specimens with auction history and clear value justification. Knowing the difference between hype and reality is key. Here's the rule: graded coins sell. If your 2017 D penny is truly in high-end condition, get it certified by a trusted grading service. That slab, the sealed, tamper-evident holder with a barcode and serial number, does more than protect the coin. It authenticates it. It proves the grade. And it tells potential buyers, you can trust this. That trust is worth its weight in copper. Uncertified coins will always sell for less, and most buyers won't risk more than a few dollars unless they're absolutely convinced. But with certification, you unlock a different market, one of collectors looking to complete registry sets, build quality albums, and acquire investment-grade specimens. Speaking of investment, yes, modern pennies, like the 2017 D, are starting to attract the attention of coin investors. Not just hobbyists. Not just roll hunters. But people who see coins as part of a diversified portfolio. Coins that are cheap to acquire today but could increase in value as supply shrinks and demand grows. It's the long game. Just as investors once bought up silver dimes and quarters by the roll, today some are looking at modern cents in mint state 66 and higher as affordable, scalable assets. And if the penny is retired, that demand will spike even further. The 2017 D could be a turning point year, still affordable, still accessible, but increasingly recognized as a key modern date, and with that, the psychology of collecting comes full circle, because coins like the 2017 D Lincoln penny aren't just physical artifacts. They're time machines. They connect us to history, to technology, to economics, to our national identity. They represent a moment frozen in metal, a moment that might be worth only 1 cent to some, but far more to those who truly see it. Those who study the strike, the surface, the symmetry of the design. Those who understand that value isn't always measured in dollars, it's measured in story, in rarity, in meaning, and so the next time you're scrolling through YouTube and see a video claiming a penny is worth $87 million, don't roll your eyes. Watch it. Then ask yourself what you can learn from it. Because maybe the value isn't in the number, it's in the motivation. It's in the spark of curiosity. The moment that makes someone pick up a magnifying glass, open a roll of coins, and start looking closer, because once you start looking, it's hard to stop, you begin to see things differently. Every coin becomes a possibility. Every date, every mint mark, every tiny detail suddenly matters. And in that moment, you become more than just a casual observer. You become a collector. You become a curator of modern American currency. And maybe, just maybe, the 2017 D penny you pulled from your pocket is more than a coin, it's the first chapter in a story you didn't know you were writing, and stories, especially ones told in copper and zinc, are always worth keeping. Let's go further into the heart of what gives a 2017 D penny real, tangible monetary value far beyond 1 cent. Now that we've covered its basic structure, design, and the principle behind coin grading, let's talk about real-world data, actual auction sales, third-party certifications, and collector demand that's been fueling this modern cents climb in visibility. Collectors and dealers in the numismatic world live and breathe by third-party grading. Without it, value is speculation. With it, value is certification. And when you look at population reports, the count of how many coins exist at each grade, you start to understand what makes one specimen more desirable than the next. For the 2017 D penny, the professional coin grading service, better known as PCGS, has graded a small but growing number of these coins in mint state 66, 67, and above. While lower grades like MS63 or MS64 are relatively easy to find and not worth much beyond a few cents to a couple of dollars, things get more interesting the higher you go. When a coin reaches MS67 red, we're talking about a nearly perfect specimen, crisp strike, flawless fields, no visible scratches even under magnification, a full rich copper-red color with zero signs of brown toning. These coins aren't just nice, they're elite. They are the kind of coin a collector wants as the centerpiece of their modern Lincoln cent series. And what's the market willing to pay? Let's look at hard numbers. Recent auction sales show graded 2017 D pennies in MS67 RD condition selling for $25 to $50, sometimes more if demand is high. Coins graded MS67 plus RD, that plus being a powerful premium in numismatics, have sold for up to $85 or $90, depending on buyer interest. But what about the top end? A 2017 D Lincoln penny graded MS68 RD is about as good as it gets. There are very few in existence. PCGS and NGC population reports confirm that only a handful of coins have received this lofty grade. One MS68 RD specimen, sold through Great Collections, reached nearly $500, an extraordinary price for what began as a penny. That's not an error coin. That's not a rare minting variety. That's a perfectly preserved, beautifully struck, modern Lincoln cent from Denver. Now some skeptics may say, why would anyone pay that kind of money for a penny? And the answer is simple: registry sets. A registry set is a digital, ranked collection that allows collectors to compete by assembling the highest graded versions of coins in a specific series. For example, some collectors try to complete a registry of all Lincoln Shield cents from 2010 to present, in the highest possible grade. Others go further back, trying to include every Lincoln cent ever made, from 1909 to today, in gem condition. In this arena, competition is fierce. If one collector lacks an MS68 RD 2017 D penny and another has it, that creates scarcity. Scarcity creates demand. And demand creates price, and then there are the error coins. While the 2017 D penny is not known for widespread or famous errors, like the 1955 double die or the 1969, yes, there are certainly examples floating around that have attracted collector attention. For instance, some 2017 D cents have been reported with die cracks, off-center strikes, and struck-through errors, where a piece of debris or wire interfered with the coin's creation. These aren't worth millions, but a dramatic struck-through error or a major misalignment could still bring in $50, $100, or more depending on the severity and eye appeal. There have even been mentions of minor doubling in Liberty or the date, although nothing on the level of a true double die has been confirmed or designated by PCGS or NGC. Still, every error, no matter how minor, makes the coin more collectible. That leads us to a real collector's question: how do you find these high-grade or error coins? And the answer is both simple and maddening: you hunt. Coin roll hunting, or CRH as it's known in the community, is one of the most popular and accessible forms of numismatics today. You go to a bank. You withdraw $25 worth of pennies, 2 full boxes. You bring them home. And you sort, coin by coin, under light, with a loupe, magnifier, or USB microscope. You're looking for luster. For detail. For signs of doubling. For flawless fields. Most of it is tedious. Most of what you'll find is average, brown, scuffed-up cents that have lived tough lives in circulation. But occasionally, and it does happen, you'll find a red gem. A bright, pristine 2017 D penny that looks like it just left the mint. Let's say you found a 2017 D Lincoln penny that looks sharp. Really sharp. The luster is bright, the fields are clean, the design is crisp from rim to rim. No scratches, no dark spots, nowhere on Lincoln's jawline or the shield on the reverse. You know it's something worth keeping. But the next question is, how do you store it? Because the difference between a penny that sells for 1 cent and one that sells for hundreds of dollars often comes down to preservation. A coin might leave the mint in near-perfect condition, but if you let it sit loose in a drawer, or throw it in a Ziploc bag where it rubs against keys, or even hold it too often with bare hands, you're reducing its condition with every passing second. The first rule of thumb is, don't clean your coin. Ever. No matter how tempting it is. No toothpaste. No vinegar. No soap and water. Cleaning a coin, even gently, ruins its surface under magnification and instantly disqualifies it from receiving a top mint state grade. Grading companies like PCGS and NGC are trained to spot even the tiniest signs of cleaning: hairline scratches, polishing marks, unnatural shine. Even what looks like an improvement to the naked eye can drop a coin's grade by multiple levels and destroy its value. So, if you find a promising 2017 D cent, keep it untouched. Handle it only by the edges and use cotton gloves if possible. Next, you need a safe environment. Ideally, place the coin in a 2x2 coin flip, a cardboard and mylar pocket that keeps it protected but visible. You can label it with the date, mint mark, and where you found it. If you want longer-term safety, go for an airtight capsule, especially if you believe your coin might reach MS66 or higher. These capsules block out oxygen, humidity, and skin oils that would otherwise cause toning or corrosion. Keep your coins stored in a dark, dry, cool place. A closet, drawer, or safe with silica gel packs is a far better home than an attic, garage, or anywhere exposed to heat or moisture. The goal is to preserve your coin in the exact state you found it. Now let's step back and talk about the bigger picture. Why should anyone care so much about a modern cent like the 2017 D? And why are more people now paying attention to pennies minted within the last 10 years than ever before? The answer is momentum. Momentum in modern numismatics. For years, collectors focused almost exclusively on older coins, wheat cents, Indian head cents, and early large cents from the 1800s. But as those coins became more expensive and harder to find in high grade, attention began shifting to modern coins. Suddenly, people realized, wait a minute, modern coins are cheap, accessible, and if you can find a perfect one, it might be rarer than many older pieces. Why? Because nobody was saving modern coins in pristine condition. Think about it. Most people never even glance at a penny. It goes from register to pocket to countertop to coin jar to the bank and back again. And during that whole journey, it gets scratched, dented, tarnished, and handled. So when someone finds a 2017 D Lincoln penny in absolutely mint condition, bright red, flawless, not a single mark, that's not just luck. That's rarity. And rarity in condition, even in modern coins, creates value. This is especially true in a world where collectors now use registry sets to compete online. Those registries track every coin by grade and allow collectors to race for the highest graded sets possible. If one person owns the only MS68 RD 2017 D penny out there, and another collector wants to complete their top grade registry, there's only one solution: pay the price. And that's how bidding wars start. That's how auctions heat up. That's how the value of a modern penny grows, not because it's old, not because it's made of rare metal, but because it's the finest known. This is the future of coin collecting. It's not just about hunting ancient coins or colonial coppers. It's about recognizing value wherever it hides, even in the smallest, most ordinary places. And the 2017 D penny is a perfect example of that new wave. It bridges the gap between traditional collecting and modern competition. It invites new collectors into the hobby with a challenge that doesn't require deep pockets but rewards patience, attention to detail, and a willingness to look closely at what most people ignore. Now let's talk about the penny itself, not just the 2017 D, but the denomination. Because the penny, the 1-cent coin, might not be around for much longer. For years, there has been an active debate in the U.S. government and among economists about whether the penny should be retired. It costs more than 1 cent to produce it. According to official mint reports, the production cost of each penny is around 2.7 to 3 cents. Multiply that by billions of coins per year, and you're talking about tens of millions of dollars in losses annually, just to create something worth less than the cost to make it. Other countries have already phased out their lowest denomination coins. Canada ended penny production in 2012. Australia phased theirs out decades ago. In both cases, the sky didn't fall. Transactions simply began rounding to the nearest 5 cents in cash dealings. Digital transactions still account for exact change. And the public adjusted quickly. The argument against the penny in the US is growing, with some economists calling it obsolete and inefficient. Even former Treasury secretaries have voiced support for retiring it. And as technology continues to dominate payment systems, from tap-to-pay cards to mobile apps, the need for exact coins is shrinking fast. So what does that mean for the 2017 penny? If the penny gets retired in the next few years, and many believe it will, that coin could be part of the final generation of US 1-cent coins. Imagine that. In the year 2035, a collector looks back at the 2017 cent and sees it as one of the last full-production Denver minted pennies ever made. That gives it added historical weight. Not only is it a modern example, but it's also potentially part of a closed chapter in American monetary history. When a coin becomes the last of its kind, or part of the final years of issue, it tends to attract collector interest. Look at what happened with silver coinage in 1964. Once silver was removed from dimes, quarters, and half dollars, collectors rushed to grab the last silver issues. Their value has grown over time, and even average condition examples sell for more than face value. The same could happen with post-2010 shield cents, especially those in high grade, if the penny is officially discontinued, and if that happens, coins like the 2017 will become snapshots in time. Small metal discs that tell a bigger story, of a currency system in transition, of a nation reassessing its smallest denomination, and of collectors preserving history in a world that's increasingly digital and cashless. That's why modern coin collecting matters. Because the coins we overlook today might be the artifacts of tomorrow. Let's also look at cultural significance. The penny isn't just a coin. It's a symbol. It features Abraham Lincoln, one of the most revered presidents in American history. A figure associated with leadership, equality, and unity during the most divisive chapter in the nation's past. And for over a century, his image has lived on in the most common coin in the country. That means something. It gives even the smallest denomination a kind of quiet dignity. So when you save a 2017 penny, you're not just saving a coin, you're saving a piece of Lincoln's legacy, and collectors know that. They feel it when they build their albums. When they line up Lincoln cents year by year. When they compare a 1909 VDB to a 2023 shield cent and marvel at how much has changed, and how much has stayed the same. These coins connect generations. A grandfather and granddaughter can both hold the same coin and share a moment, a story, a connection that's stronger than metal, and that's what makes numismatics different from almost every other hobby. You're not just collecting objects. You're collecting time. You're collecting memory. You're collecting the legacy of a nation, 1 cent at a time. So when you find a 2017 penny that looks a little brighter than the rest, a little sharper, don't toss it aside. Give it a second look. And maybe a third. Because that coin might not be just another cent. It might be a tiny, shining piece of something much bigger. It might be the start of your collection. It might be the rare gem that no one else saw coming. Or it might simply remind you that in a world full of noise, there is still value in paying close attention to small things. And that's where the real fun begins. You set that coin aside. You compare it to grading photos online. PCGS PhotoGrade is a great resource. If you think it's got potential, you don't clean it. You don't touch it. You put it in a soft flip or an airtight holder and send it to a grading service. This process costs money, submission fees, shipping, sometimes a membership, but if your hunch is right and your coin grades MS67 Plus or MS68, you could be looking at a return of 10x, 20x, even 50x your investment. And again, that's with a coin that entered the world as a penny. Now let's talk about the long game. Because this isn't just about selling coins right now. Many collectors are holding on to their best 2017 specimens for the future. Why? Because as more and more coins suffer wear, corrosion, or get tossed, lost, or melted, the number of pristine mint state specimens declines. And scarcity increases. If today there are 100 coins graded MS68RD, in 20 years, there might only be 85 still on the market. Some will be locked in private collections. Others damaged. A few, forgotten. This is the long arc of coin collecting. And modern pennies, while common today, could become the rare high-grade stars of tomorrow. Think about what happened to 1983 cents. In 1983, the U.S. Mint had just recently switched to zinc cores. Few collectors were saving them in gem condition. But today, 1983 pennies in MS67RD can sell for hundreds of dollars, not because they're inherently rare, but because finding them in that pristine state is surprisingly difficult. Now apply that thinking to 2017. It's not about how many were made. It's about how many survive in perfect shape, and then we return, inevitably, to the myth. The internet legend of the 2017 D penny that sold, or could sell, for $87 million. Let's state clearly and without drama, this number is fiction. No 2017 D Lincoln penny has ever, in any grading or error condition, sold for even a fraction of that number. The record for the most expensive penny ever sold goes to rare classics like the 1943 bronze cent or the 1793 chain cent, which have fetched upwards of $1 million in pristine, historical condition. But the 2017 D? That's not the realm of 8-figure auctions. That's the realm of clickbait headlines, online rumors, and misinterpretations of listings that say, price, $87 million, as a joke or to draw views. But let's not be too harsh on that myth. Because even though it's completely false, it shines a spotlight on the truth that so many people ignore: there is hidden value in our pockets. There is real value in modern coins. And even if you never find a coin worth $87 million, because you won't, you can find one worth $80, $100, $300, maybe more. And that's worth paying attention to. It's also worth understanding what collectors are willing to pay for. They pay for rarity. They pay for condition. They pay for uniqueness. They pay for certified proof of quality. They pay to complete their registry sets. And most importantly, they pay for stories, stories about coins, their designs, their histories, their oddities, and their journeys. The 2017 D Lincoln cent might be modern. It might be mass-produced. It might be common. But it still tells a story, one rooted in Lincoln, in America, in unity, and in the pursuit of detail and perfection. So when someone tells you that pennies are useless, that they'll all be gone in a few years, that they're not worth the metal they're printed on, just smile. Because you know something they don't. You know that in the world of numismatics, even the smallest, humblest coin can become a hidden gem. You know that collectors are still building sets. That registry wars are still being fought. That perfect specimens are still being discovered. And that maybe, just maybe, the next rare 2017 D penny worth a few $100s is sitting unnoticed in someone's change jar right now, just waiting for the right set of eyes, and maybe those eyes are yours. Welcome back, Lincoln currency. Let's talk about a coin so ordinary you'd probably ignore it if you saw it on the street. A coin so common that it's often forgotten in the depths of couch cushions, left behind in take-a-penny trays, or thrown into large jars without a second thought. Yes, we're talking about the 2017 D Lincoln cent, just a penny. A single, 1-cent coin minted in the billions. But here's the thing. What if I told you this one little piece of copper-plated zinc, seemingly insignificant and tiny in your hand, has a story that stretches over a century of American history? What if I told you that under the right conditions, under just the right circumstances, this exact same penny, if preserved perfectly, might not be worth 1 cent, but hundreds of dollars, or in the dreams of viral collectors, a staggering, though wildly exaggerated, $87 million? Now, take a moment. Really look at this coin. It weighs only 2.50 grams. That's light. Lighter than the earlier pennies that once carried nearly pure copper. This one is a modern-day iteration, a coin made of 97.5% zinc with a thin outer layer of copper accounting for the remaining 2.5%. Its diameter? 19.05 millimeters. It fits snugly in the palm of your hand, round and familiar, with a smooth, plain edge. It's the coin we've all used thousands of times, most often without ever looking at the details, but today, we are going to look at the details. We're going to zoom in, not just with our eyes or with a camera lens, but with our understanding. The 2017 D penny comes with a story. It was struck at the Denver Mint, one of the primary facilities of the United States Mint. That little D under the year, on the right side of Lincoln's portrait, signifies that it was made in the Colorado facility, an iconic branch of American coin production since the early 1900s. On the front, the obverse, we see the famous profile of Abraham Lincoln, the 16th President of the United States. His image has been on the penny since 1909, when it was first introduced to commemorate his 100th birthday. Designed by Victor David Brenner, Lincoln's bust was the first time a real historical figure appeared on regular circulating U.S. coinage. And this wasn't just any portrait. Brenner's design was based on a photograph taken of Lincoln in 1864. It's stoic, deeply engraved, and profoundly American. You'll notice Lincoln is facing right, a bit of a rarity since most coins depict profiles facing left. On the outer rim, the words, "In God We Trust," arc gracefully above Lincoln's head, a phrase added in the mid-20th century, reflecting the national motto. To the left of his profile is the word "Liberty," and to the right, the date, 2017, followed by the letter D, marking its Denver Mint origin. Now flip it over. The reverse side of the 2017 D penny shows something completely different from what older collectors remember. Gone is the Lincoln Memorial, the design that adorned the penny from 1959 until 2008. Instead, we have the Union Shield design, a bold emblem of unity, strength, and legacy. This reverse was introduced in 2010, replacing the one-year bicentennial Lincoln series of 2009 and the 50-year Lincoln Memorial reverse before that. This shield isn't just artistic, it's symbolic. Designed by artist Lyndall Bass and engraved by Joseph Mena, it reflects the strength of a nation held together after Civil War division. There are 13 vertical stripes, representing the original colonies, joined by a single horizontal bar above, symbolizing the federal government. Draped across that bar is the Latin phrase, e pluribus unum, meaning, out of many, one. It's a design steeped in purpose. And at the very bottom, centered boldly, is the denomination, 1 cent. Nothing fancy, no frills. Just plain text, because the value is supposed to be obvious. But again, we're here to say it might be worth a whole lot more than that, depending on very specific conditions. Let's pause there for a moment. Because to understand why this coin might be valuable, or at least why collectors are paying far more than 1 cent for certain versions of it, we have to understand how coin grading works. You see, not all pennies are created equal. Even though billions of them were struck, 4.27 billion from the Denver Mint alone in 2017, the condition in which a coin survives can determine whether it's common pocket change or a desirable collectible. Enter coin grading. This is the professional process of assessing a coin's condition, typically on a scale from 1 to 70. A coin graded MS-60 is uncirculated, but may have noticeable marks or dull luster. MS-65 is much nicer, with strong eye appeal and minimal blemishes. But when you start approaching MS-67, MS-68, or even the near-perfect MS-69, you're entering territory where collectors and investors start to pay serious attention, and serious money, for the 2017 D penny. Coins in MS-65 red condition might sell for just a few dollars. But those rare, nearly flawless specimens, graded MS-67 plus red or MS-68 red, have been known to sell for $150, $300, and in some sales, even over $400. These values can fluctuate depending on auction demand, population reports, and sheer market interest. But make no mistake, This is a massive jump from 1 cent, and let's not forget the mysterious and viral claims about the 2017 D penny being worth $87 million. This number, absurd, inflated, and with no grounding in the real numismatic world, likely started on a clickbait website or YouTube thumbnail designed to grab your attention. That figure doesn't represent the reality of any sale, any auction result, or any known appraisal. However, the fact that it even became a topic of discussion shows just how captivated the public is with the idea of hidden treasure in our everyday currency, because here's the truth: while your average circulated 2017 D penny is only worth its face value, 1 cent, some special examples, particularly error coins, high-grade mint state examples, and red designation coins can fetch real money. We're talking certified coins from reputable grading companies like PCGS, Professional Coin Grading Service, or NGC, Numismatic Guarantee Company. But what makes a coin truly red? It refers to the color of the copper. Over time, copper tarnishes, it turns brown or gets spotty. But coins preserved in airtight, pristine conditions often retain their original bright red-orange glow. Grading services label them accordingly: red, RD, red-brown, RB, and brown, BN. The redder, the better. The most valuable modern Lincoln cents are almost always RD designation, especially when combined with ultra-high grades, and then we have error coins, one of the most exciting areas of numismatics. These are coins with mistakes made during the minting process. Double dies, off-center strikes, clipped planchets, die breaks, and more. If a 2017 D penny were found with a dramatic minting error, say, a double strike with strong doubling on the date or liberty, it could be worth far more than face value. In fact, some known double die pennies from earlier years, like the famous 1955 double die obverse, can fetch thousands of dollars. While no major error varieties are officially confirmed for 2017 D, that doesn't mean none exist. Errors often go unnoticed for years, only discovered later in circulation or in sealed mint rolls. Now imagine, you're going through a jar of coins from the laundry room or an old box of change from your grandmother's attic. You're half listening to a podcast, sorting through pennies, when you see something: clean, sharp, bright red, flawless rims. No scratches. You flip it under light. It glows. That's your moment. That's when you realize, you might not be holding just another cent. You might be holding a perfect 2017 D, a sleeper coin ready for grading, ready for auction, ready for a new home in someone's prized Lincoln cent collection, and that's what keeps collectors searching. Not the guarantee of millions. Not the myth of viral videos. But the genuine thrill of finding something rare among the ordinary. The same way someone might hunt for a rare baseball card, an unopened comic book, or a first-edition book with a misprint, coin collectors are archaeologists of the everyday, mining the present for echoes of the past, and sometimes, for rare value hiding in plain sight.